about 30 times to my count. That is the Jamesian position in the New Testament. James says we're saved not like Paul says by faith alone and grace. We're saved by faith working with works. Well, faith is believing. So believe and do good works is the essence of the Jamesian position. It's my point of view that it's the essence of the Dead Sea Scrolls, and it's my point of view that it's the essence of Islam too. So when you start looking for Jesus, you really have to go aside from Christian scripture. Two other points before I close, because I want to give my colleagues a chance to have a few says in here too, of course. Another thing that many Muslims don't realize is that Muslim dietary law is based on James's instructions to overseas communities. In other words, they abstain from carrion, things sacrificed to idols, pork, and I forget the blood or whatever it is, the third or fourth part of the Quranic injunctions about eating are actually the essence of James's instructions to overseas communities in the book of Acts, where he says abstain from blood, things sacrificed to idols, strangled things, by which he means carrion, and fornication, which all Islam is against fornication. So these are the instructions James gives, and they reappear in the Quran. So I think that the Quran is the heir to a Jamesian strain of anti-Paulinism. Now, finally, this Jamesian strain of anti-Paulinism, which permeates the Quran, expresses itself in works righteousness. Now, Paul, which is the Islamic position too, you're saved by the works that go before you, the works that you send before you, strict works righteousness. Now, Paul, on the other hand, is the faith man. You're saved by your belief in Jesus Christ. And that's the argument between Paul and James. In the Western world, Paul won out. And what we call Christianity is basically Paulinism. But the final issue between Paul and James on this faith versus works matter centers around Abraham. And if you remember, for the Quran, for Muhammad, for Islam, this also focuses on the salvationary state of Abraham too. So I think that Muslims would be very interested to look into the James matter, and they would find a lot in common with not only James, but what parallels James in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And once we approach James, we approach the historical Jesus. The final point I wanted to make was on the Gospels themselves. As a secular scholar now, I honestly do not take the Gospels as history. And I think more and more secular scholars are coming to that position. The Gospels are a kind of Paulinism, that is Paul, retrospectively imposed on the Second Temple period. And that's where the Dead Sea Scrolls really help us, because the Dead Sea Scrolls show us another form of messianism, closer to Jamesianism and closer to Islam, and not close to Paulinism at all. And I think we get the kernel of both this third way that finally goes into Islam, as far as I'm concerned, and that you, who are mainly Muslims in this room, would feel very close to if you knew it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Eisenman. And as you heard him say, he says he has a bone to pick.
On one point.
Don't worry, that will not be an experiment in medical sciences. It is a healthy sign of the exercise you'll be witnessing in academic scholarship. Our next speaker is Dr. George Gross, and I'll give you a brief background. Dr. George Gross is a pioneer in the 20th century dialogue between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. He led in the foundation of the Academy for Judaic, Christian, and Islamic Studies in 1977. He has been the president of the Academy since its inception. Together with Jewish, Christian, and Muslim colleagues, he has worked to foster a dialogue between these three faiths in the United States and abroad. He has given dialogue lectures at the World Council of Churches in Geneva and for the 6th Assembly of the Council convened in Vancouver, in Cairo, and Jerusalem, and at the Vatican. Since 1994, the Academy has been affiliated with the University Religious Conference at UCLA. At present, Dr. Gross is a visiting lecturer at UCLA, teaching the Abrahamic religions in the 21st century and the class of civilizations, with the help of Dr. Muzammil Siddiqui and Dr. Elliot Dorff. Dr. Gross holds a doctorate from Claremont School of Theology. His dissertation was entitled Foundations for Dialogue Between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. He was appointed a Merrill Fellow at the Harvard University Divinity School for